Guys, welcome back to Lab Cyber. So yesterday, there was a very embarrassing data breach that occurred involving some very senior White House officials. Apparently, they were having this very secret, confidential meeting online using the Signal application. They were discussing their war plans against Yemen. And in that meeting, you had US Vice President J.D. Vance, you had the Secretary of Defense, the White House National Security Advisor, and some other top officials. But in that meeting was also somebody who wasn't supposed to be there. This was a journalist, the editor for the Atlantic magazine. How did he get into the chat room? Well, apparently it was Mike Waltz, the White House National Security Advisor, who accidentally added him to the group. How he did it, I don't know. But because of this incident, there have been two major discussions I've seen online. One, involving the Signal application, and then second, whether or not Mike Waltz could be classified as an insider threat. So I want to address both issues. So let's talk about Signal first of all. Now, obviously, Signal is in the news again because the White House officials, they were using Signal, and they faced a lot of criticism because Signal, believe it or not, hasn't actually been approved for use by the US government. Now, this has led to people having this discussion online as to whether or not Signal is actually a secure application. I mean, if the US government doesn't approve the use of Signal for confidential information and confidential meetings, then perhaps maybe we as ordinary citizens, maybe we shouldn't be using Signal. Maybe we should be using a different kind of application. Here's the simple truth, okay? Signal is still a fantastic application for private communication. The reason why it's not been approved by the US government is for two main reasons. One is the fact that Signal doesn't keep track of who accesses messages in a chat room. And then second is that Signal doesn't have any features for auditing and compliance. And obviously, these are very, very important features that are needed whenever confidential data is being shared. Obviously, you'd want to know who accessed the data, who made any edits, and so on. And because Signal doesn't have these features, that's why it's not been approved by the US government for sharing confidential information. It's not because it's not a good application. It's still a fantastic application. In fact, I have it installed on my phone right here. I do use Signal. So for everyday communication between you and your friends, you and your family, your doctor or whoever, Signal is still one of the very best applications for private communication. It offers true end-to-end encryption, and really, you can't get any better than Signal. So please don't let this affect your decision to use Signal or keep using Signal. Please do use Signal. It is still a fantastic, fantastic application. Now, the second issue here involves Mike Waltz. I actually got the question on LinkedIn. Somebody was asking me whether or not Mike Waltz could be classified as an insider threat because he is a White House official and he was the one who caused the data breach. But then again, this same person was confused as to whether or not he could be classified as an insider threat because his intention wasn't actually malicious, it was an accident. So can we still classify Mike Waltz as an insider threat? The simple answer is yes. Because see, the term insider threat doesn't refer to the intent of that threat actor. It refers to the position from which the threat actor is operating from. And because Mike Waltz, regardless of his intentions, because he's a White House official, because he's in the administration, he's operating from the inside, he caused the data breach, therefore he is still an insider threat. However, to now draw the distinction between malicious intent and accidental, we have something called the accidental threats. This would be insider threats that led to security breaches, to data breaches accidentally. So Mike Waltz in this case could be classified as an accidental threat, but ultimately he would still be an insider threat. So I hope that clears the confusion. And that's it. Just before I go, I think what happened yesterday should be a reminder that the vast majority of data breaches and security breaches are very often caused by an employee or an official who did something very careless or something very, very stupid. And as you can see, in this case right now, it was the White House National Security Advisor. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, do give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments about anything I discussed in this video, be sure to put them down in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them as soon as I can. If you're new here to the channel, welcome to Lab Cyber. My name is Alex. I discuss all things cybersecurity and AI. So if you do like content like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Stay vigilant out there, and I'll talk to you next time. Cheers.